Alright guys, let's talk today about the Berbers. So the first thing you should know about the Berbers is that they are one of the few civilizations of the game that has no access to eco bonuses. Actually, their villagers do move 5% faster, and especially on lower elos, this can be quite helpful for you to bring back your boars without barely getting hit or barely taking any damage. For example, in this game you can see that hero is basically pushing back the boar and he's basically getting like only one hit, which he could even have avoided if he wanted to. So taking boars as the Berber is a lot more smooth, and that can actually be quite handful if you play maps like African Clearing and Nomad. On these kind of maps you can actually push multiple boars during Dark Age, up to 4 or 5 depending on the map, and that of course with this 5% extra speed can be good. But that said, there's nothing special about the Berbers until the Castle Age, where their units actually shine, because they do have great mounted units. They do have all their stable units costing less 20%, and on the archer range they do have access to this unique unit called Genitor, which is actually a unit that will be available for your team as well. So if you want to play Berber and you want to give this unit to some of your allies, just say that you are playing like Berbers and Vietnamite. You can just allow the Vietnamite to play with this Genitor while you just keep making your camels and knights as the Berber player. So basically that's the idea, and that's what you want to go. So how to play do you should play the Feudal Age as the Berber player? My personal recommendation is that you actually go for a very regular scout rush, and if necessary add skirmishers. I think that these actually benefits the civilization a lot. If you play defensive, walling yourself and actually trying to counterattack with scouts, but avoiding a direct confrontation, this will basically create a great setup for the Castle Age, because not only you are going to have a stable, but also an archer range. And once you are in the next age, you can choose to go for either stable units or the Genitor on your archer range. So Feudal Age might be tough for the Berbers, and for this very reason I also recommend that you go to the Castle Age as soon as possible. So do not stay a prolonged time during the Feudal Age, and once you go to the Castle Age you can start doing your Castle Age units. Hello guys, it's me Stark, and I'm here to talk about the Berber Civilization. On this specific game, Hero is facing MBL, that's playing as the Bohemian. Hero did choose to go for full wall himself during the end of Dark Age and play actually with a Feudal Age booming that we already have seen on this channel, which is basically the goal of going towards the next age, the Feudal Age, and upgrading your economical stuff as soon as possible, and then just developing here your economy in order to go to the Castle Age. A very powerful tool if you want to reach Castle Age. Berbers have nothing special going on for them here on the economy, so it's a civilization that actually get benefit from their units and by having stable discounts. So there's nothing so special for your civilization, only a 5% faster moving villagers starting from Dark Age and 10% on Feudal Age. This actually means that, well, their farming can receive a small boost, but it's far from being a very significant or economical bonus, such as, for example, the Dravidian free 200 wood, the Lithuanian extra 100 food. Those bonuses are way more significant, to be honest. So I would say that the Berber cannot count on that so much. MBL is attacking here with a scout opening, followed by archers, so he's going for a very aggressive approach, while Hira is just trying to defend himself with the use of small amount of skirmishers and archers, just trying to repel off his opponent. And he's now investing into a second archer range. Is he going to play Cav archers, guys? No, he is not. He's actually going towards the one of the Berber unique units here. If you are playing as the Berber, there is a team bonus that both you and your allies can access a unit that can be done here on the archer range that is called Genitor. Genitor is a very interesting unit. This unit was designed before but never introduced it to the game. Only later it came to live here with the addition of the Berbers, and it's basically a mounted skirmisher. As you can see, this unit costs 40 food and 35 wood, so it has a similar resource distribution than a skirmisher. It's like a trash unit, as some would call, because it costs no gold, and it actually has similar stats than a skirmisher. Let's analyze here a Genitor. While a regular skirmisher has 2 attack, a Genitor has 3. While a regular skirmisher has 3 pierce armor, 4 in the elite version. Well, the Janitor has the same, 4 pierce armor. The difference here comes in the other stats. It's a mounted unit, so it has more HP, 50 HP, and it also is a mounted unit, which means that it's faster, having 1.35 speed. So basically you have now a mounted skirmisher. It does receive one less attack than an elite skirmisher, but it actually compensates that by having the extra mobility that can actually help this unit to evade from enemy cavalry, camels and so on, and just punish the enemy by raiding. Right here you can see the Berber player is booming while just trying to apply some small raidings using the Janitor. The biggest problem with the Janitor, as I have mentioned, is that this is a skirmisher-like unit, so it actually gets countered by horses. But different from the skirmishers, you can actually run from those. And obviously, once you start making small combinations of units, such as Janitor plus monks, you can actually defend yourself from most things that your opponent can actually do. Right there, we can also see that the Janitors are a mounted unit, which means that they can actually be affected by stable upgrades. So you can actually increase the HP, and also you can actually increase the speed of your Janitors by getting access to the stable upgrades. And by stable upgrades, I do mean both bloodlines and husbandry. Those two can actually make a small boost to the Janitors. By the way, you can also upgrade their attack and their armor as if they were a skirmisher unit. So just go for like fletching, bodkin arrow, padded archer armor, leather archer armor, and later on Imperial Age you can upgrade them using bracer and ring archer armor. With the use of these upgrades, you can actually hit the enemy crossbowmen. And basically, you can close the gap, and it's very difficult for a crossbowman to actually take down your units. By the way, guys, on this game, we're talking about Bohemian crossbowmen with access to bracer. So they are the strongest DPS crossmen of the Castle Age, arguably. They might actually lose to the Ethiopians because of the speed, but honestly, stat-wise, they are the strongest crossmen here, because having this one extra attack from chemistry actually boosts their strength by a lot. MBL, thanks to that and using a heal, was already able to take down a TC from Hira and is pressuring him. But there comes the Janitors, and as I said, since they have this extra mobility, there is easier for you to do other big plays. For example, diving into the mangonels, shooting and getting out of the mangonel range way faster than the skirmishers. And even if you get a shot in the face, well, you are just not gonna lose the units, but rather just lose like half of your HP, because you are way more bulky than a regular skirmisher. Still, it's not the kind of unit that you want to be sniping here mangoes, but it's way more resistant. So this is one of the things that the Berber has going special for them, which is the Janitor. Not only that, but you can also increase the power of your Janitor gameplay by adding up another cavalry unit to support them. For example, in this game, only by playing with massive Janitors, Hero is being able to contain here the Bohemian aggression, deny this enemy castle, and now he's gonna jump on the enemy crossbowman. I don't know what he's waiting for. I honestly don't know what he's waiting for. He can truly kill the crossbowman. There he comes. Loses a Janitor in the process of closing the gap, but then he just advances and keeps shooting the enemy crossbowman. Once you close the gap, there's basically nothing that the crossbowman can do. And also, guys, different from the skirmishers, since you have extra speed, you can also chase down and hunt down the enemy archers. Not only kill it, but you can also outrun and not give these archers room to leave or to evade your powers here, making this unit very powerful, and obviously being more resistant to mangonels can be quite annoying. You cannot kill mangonels, and mangonels cannot properly kill you. So, very interesting unit to use. The other units from the Berbers are the Camel Archers, which you can actually talk about later, and they also have discount on every cavalry unit here, and this discount is of 15% during the Castle Age and 20% during the Imperial Age. So let's just make some small calculations here on these discounts to see how much we are paying for the units during the Imperial Age, which, by the way, we are getting around here. So Janitors just made a clean Castle Age build here, defending from the Bohemian, and now we are on the Imperial Age. Once you are on Imperial Age, you can actually access Cavaliers by the price of only 48 food and 60 gold, and you can actually make Russars on the cost of only 64 food. So basically, do you remember the bonus from the Gurjaras, where you actually have to pay to have some small food discount? Well, you have something similar here, a 20% discount, and you get it for free. You don't need to upgrade anything to get access to that. And because of this, going for massive cavalry armies here during the Imperial Age to be one of the trademarks from the Berber Civilization. There are also other tools that Berber can use, like bombard cannon, gunpowder units, camel archers, which are a very good unique unit that can actually deal extra bonus damage against other cav archer units. And honestly, with a 7 base attack on its regular version, make it to be one of the strongest unique units of the game, especially to play on team games. It can actually counter a wide variety of units. But then, of course, we are talking about the Berbers, so if you want a good game plan for the Berbers is mess up your farms, do something similar to Hero here. Everywhere you have some small space, go for a massive amount of farms. And what do you do with this massive amount of farms? You invest into a lot of stables, and then you just win your opponent by outmassing his army with your cheaper cavalry. Having a 64 food cavalry available on the stable allows you to outmass and increase its number by a lot. Right here we can already see some small number of light cavalries taking on some fights. Even if they are not the best units to fight against, like the Hussite Wygons, they can basically kill them by raw numbers. The elite camel archer combined with janitors are a great rating tool here, but of course you can only if you could only choose one, I would say that camel archers are probably the best one, and janitors in case you are just facing a massive amount of ranged units. And obviously then just spend the Russars. Let's take a small calculation here. We have 9 stables so far by Hera. So this is how we should actually be playing on the Berber Imperial Age. Go for a massive amount of farms. This guy has like more than 65 farms, and look what he's doing. He's building more and more farms around the map. He's just going to develop. Sky's the limit. I think that if this game went to post-Imperial Age and there were like no more gold or stone to be taken, 100 farms would be actually a great call here for the Berber Civilization. And then just spend Russars and win the fights by raw numbers. Right here we have a 50 military unit versus 35 for the Bohemian. And not only the Russars can get a great fight, but that's something that you just can keep doing forever, because as long as you have stable, you can keep massing more and more Russar numbers. With the first wave, the Russars are already taking out the game. But even if they had, you could repeat this process like several times with this economy and this stable setup. So messing up cavalry as the Berber seems to be one of the best ways to play the game. Basically winning by numbers, but in this scenario, cavalry numbers. Pretty powerful. Look at the quills here, guys. More than 80 farms and Russars non-stop. One good option here to play as the Berber is the Camel Archer, which is basically a Cav Archer unique unit from the Berbers that also counter other Cav Archers. By going this unit, not only you are going to be playing with a mobile unit, but it also scales pretty well. Once in the next stage, you can pretty much upgrade Thumbring, all the attack, all the armor, and the elite version. So for this reason, this unit is quite popular and quite powerful, and it also honestly counter most of the other mounted units of the game, so you can pretty much even deal with enemy knights here if you want to by massing enough of those guys. And of course, due to your mobility, you can actually pick up the correct fights. What can actually counter the camel archers are elite skirmishers, or perhaps if you actually are forced to, you might actually have to deal with some opponent with extra number of archers, crossmen, or whatever. But basically, with the addition of a few siege units, you can actually make it work. So right here I was just playing with a few camel archers and mangonels, and I was having some relatively success here, forcing my opponent back to his base. Of course, due to the mobility, you can always choose to use your camel archers to get some good fights and snipe even enemy skirmishers and obviously enemy monks. Another good play that you can actually do when you have the camel archer here is to control the map, and you can do that by placing extra castles while you boom on the back. And I mean even placing castles here on strategical hills to control the flow of the game, or even more aggressive castles that can even range your opponent's town centers and deny him some very core buildings like his stable, monastery, and so on. Camel archers are good, but they are still countered by elite skirmisher. You can actually heal those guys up on your castles, use monks, and try to take them alive towards the Imperial Age, where they can be a lot more useful. The thing is, there are, as I said, more than one counter to that unit, and the biggest restriction that you have to play full camel archer here is actually the number of castles. While your opponent can be spamming several more army using only archer ranges, you will actually be a hostage of having castles to actually produce your camel archer. On this specific game, my opponent was like way faster towards the Imperial Age than I was, and that actually put me on a very annoying position. I couldn't even control a bit better the map, and he did counter-attack me here with a forward castle. So what other options do the Berber has? Well, spamming cavaliers or spamming camels. So this, let's talk now about one of the biggest strengths of the Berber Civilization, which is the 20% discount on Imperial Age. Because of this discount, all of my camels only cost 44 food and 48 gold, meaning that I can pretty much outnumber my opponent regarding the camel numbers. So in order to do that, my personal recommendation is to boom heavily here with at least 3 town centers. Even more is recommended, like 4. Try to protect your eco using multiple castles, town centers, or whatever, and focus on getting all the upgrades and multiple stables for the civilization. Of course, creating a distraction like a forward castle and a few camel archers can be pretty useful. With that said, on this game I was fighting against the Hindustani. Hindustani was having a good opening here, and he was actually countering me with elite skirmisher plus trebuchets and bomber cannons during the imp. I was basically trying to buy some extra time, snipe some enemy vehicles, snipe some enemy bomber cannons, while actually messing up my camel army. Once my army got started to grow in numbers, what I actually did here was to actually mess up some trebuchets to pushing. He did have several castles and was considering to make some transitions. This guy even showed me some gulans on my economy, but they were not upgraded, so I knew that he wasn't going for this unit, so he would probably try to go either for the Hindustani's hand cannoneers or the Hindustani's Imperial Age camel, which are pretty decent. So how do you actually play as the Berber? Pretty simple. You mass as much stables as possible, get all the upgrades available for your camels, and then you jump on the enemy as soon as you have the chance. On this game, this is where I actually had my chance there, to jump on his castle, to take down his trebuchets, was just waiting for him to jump on my castle, and then basically I just killed the guy by spamming my camels. I'd say that for some civilizations that have no halberdiers, countering Berbers is quite difficult. If you have like a civilization like the Gurjaras, like the Hindustanis, or even the Saracens, you are pretty much forced to go camel versus camel, and the Berber can actually win by its low cost. Right here I was playing with a big army, we're talking about around 50 camels. My opponent was trying to go for his own camels, and we ended up here in a huge camel war. And Berbers are really annoying, guys. You basically want to win here by numbers. I was yet upgrading here both trebuchets and camels. Do we have something else to talk about here? I think we do. Yeah, camels. Double the bet and keep adding new stables. What you want to do here is a full quill of camels once you are on the Imperial Age. And even when you are fighting against a stronger camel like the Hindustani one, you want to keep forcing fights, and you want to keep your population at 200 here by fighting and messing up units. Right there, as you can see, I'm basically fighting against my opponent in a big camel war, and I do not stop spamming those guys. You should always be able to win as the Berber against any other camel civ, only regarding the number. Quality wise, many of the camels from this game, such as the Gurjar one, the Hindustani one, the Saracen one, can beat your camel in the 1v1. So in order to win the game, you should never trust in the 1v1, you should always trust on raw numbers. So as the Berber, that's what you want to do, that's how you want to play, and that's how you actually want to win games. Spamming cavalry units and outmassing your opponent, not winning by quality but by quantity. Think of a Berber on this aspect like a god of the mounted units. Alright guys, let's talk about the Berber best army composition and how to get and correctly upgrade it. And we are talking about the Camel Archer. Let's start with the Castle Age upgrades. The Camel Archer is also considered a Cav Archer, so go for the Tumbling, and that can actually increase a bit the firing rate and the accuracy of this unit. In order to go for the elite, for the Camel Archer, you also need to produce castles, as many as any other unique unit will need. And my personal recommendation is that you actually build at least 1 or 2 safe castles, because in case your opponent tries to kill your Camel Archers, the best way to do that is on early Imperial Age, by trying to take down your castles while spamming units from archer range or stables, which can actually outproduce you on the early stages of the game. But the thing is, if you can scale into late Imperial Age, the better the Camel Archers will become. What you want to do here is to get all the upgrades that you would regularly make for units such as the Arbalest or a Revi Cav Archer. So you want to get Bracer, you want to get Chemistry, you want to get all of these to boost your unit. If you want if you do not have enough resources, leave the elite upgrade for the last one. Let's also talk about the golden crowns of the Berber Civilization, which can make like all the difference. The first one of them being the silver golden crown, the silver crown here, Casbah, which actually increase the speed of your castles, which allows you to produce trebuchets and also to produce your unique unit, the Camel Archers, a lot faster. The other crown here, the golden crown, it's called Maghrebi camels, and Maghrebi camels will just give a very useful stat. It will allow your camel units to regenerate themselves over time. It's only 15 HP here on Imperial Age, but honestly that's quite handy here, especially for a unit that will just have at least 75 HP on its regular version, and also will scale pretty well and will always be part of the backline army. Because of this, your army can always be safe as long as you are keeping a safe distance, and your weaker units are going to heal itself over time. So that's a very small buff here and help for the Imperial Age gameplay. So if you want to have your best army composition for the Berber, I would say that it's basically a combination of the Camel Archer plus either Camel or Cavalier according to the situation. For example, on this game you can see here we're fighting Leary. Leary is fighting with the Saracens Revi Camels, which are quite good. So in order to make a front line, hero can actually add his own camels there. So he'll just play with a double camel composition. So yes, Berbers can actually play with double camel composition, and that's insane because both your Camel Archers and your regular camels, once you have Maghreb upgraded, will also regenerate a small amount of HP over time. That combined with their cost is pretty good. As the game keeps evolving, my personal suggestion is that you actually upgrade the Russar, because then you can switch your gold frontline of the camels towards the Russar and play like all the Imperial Age with Camel Archers plus Russar. Are you losing way too much Camel Archers? Retreat, heal them up, add some siege, and that's basically how you want to be playing, and that's the final army composition that I would suggest for the Berber. Similar to how Mongols should always aim to play with Elite Mangudai plus Russar, not always but in most scenarios, the same can be said for the Berber. If you achieve a point of the game where you can actually play with your Camel Archers together with Russar on making the front line for yourself, you are in a very good shoes with the civilization.